Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is IGKX and welcome back to Worldwide Sim Racing, and we're here for the WSR Formula Euro Championship. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for the last week, which is currently live. We are trying to get the last week's race onto the YouTube channel. Here we are, however, for the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's the final round in the championship. Of course, the championship is decided. Julian is your Formula Euro champion. But we have one more round to go here in Interlagos, Brazil, for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We have about 12 drivers on the grid today. Not a huge grid, but nonetheless, still very talented drivers. And we will definitely have a good race in store for you today. Let's go over that lineup. So it's going to be 11 drivers. It's going to be MNTL Think, WSO J Ferreira, NSX Fruitful, The Ginger 2121, Terror Racer 96, Ghost King 2503, URL Red Lightning, LR Julian R 2012, TVH Ice T 56, and IGK Gil. There's 18 minutes of qualifying in the truck qualifying session. Drivers are allowed to set as many lap times as they want in order to get the fastest time for pole position. And then there will be a 50% race of the regulations laps for the Brazilian Grand Prix in real life, which, if I can... So about 35 laps. I think it's going to round up to 36, 35.5 on the thing. It is NSX Fruitful, who's the first car out. I believe, actually, there's the Ferrari. That's Gil, who was the runner-up in the Formula Euro Championship. Unfortunately, was not able to keep it alive. Did unfortunately miss a round in Italy, so that is why he was not able to stay in the championship fight. But nonetheless, here he is in the Scuderia Ferrari SF90. This is the final race, ladies and gentlemen, for the championship season in general for Worldwide Sim Racing. We started, of course, with Tier 1 in the Formula World Championship. We just ended the WSR 2 Formula World Championship, and we end this weekend on Saturday with the WSR Formula Euro Championship, as Gil begins his first lap, coming through the S's. The first little chicane, turns 1 and 2, one of my favorite parts on the track, even if I invalidate pretty much every time. We'll get the full track map up, we'll get the lap data, we'll get you telemetry, and we'll also get you your tires fitted. Everybody's running soft compound tires as Gil goes through into Sector 2, keeping it nice on the curb. Of course, Gil, a very calculated driver, who did a very good job during this season in the championship. Unfortunately, that missed race in Italy did definitely hurt his championship, as he gets a nice run through the end of Sector 2. Let's see what the split is going to be right here. It's going to be a 51.5, which is not going to be fastest at the moment. I think Julian actually is going to come across the line first, and he's going to set a 107.6. Coming across the line next will be Gil. Will he go? He will go second fastest, with about 0.3 separating the two drivers. It's going to be Fruitful next. Let's see how we get next. Who is it? It's going to be Red Lightning, who will come across the line next to set a time, and he will go fourth fastest. Terror Racer goes sixth, and jumping up the pack is Ginger in fourth. Julian's going to come across the line with an invalidated lap, and we'll go for another one with a little bit of ERS to spare. Slowest time right now, 1 minute 10, which is more indicative of my time, to say the least. So definitely can go faster, though. Ferreira is coming around the final few turns in Sector 2. Sorry, Sector 3. He has finished Sector 2 as a 52, so it didn't look super fast right now as he's coming around the final few turns here. Ferreira's about to come across the line. It's going to be in the... I am getting a error that my internet connection, which I was afraid is not very good right now. I do apologize for any stream quality issues that we have today, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, the internet at my end has not been fantastic. So again, I do apologize for the lack of quality on the stream. But nonetheless, you can at least get an auditory feeling. I'll try to give you the best audio feeling that you can get. And hopefully everything will fill itself out. Ferreira is going to come into the pits with a 109. MNTL thinks the only driver currently without a lap time. He is in the pit lane at the moment. Julian went across with a 7th place time with a 108.4, so not too bad. But I'm definitely going to expect he is going to want more. Thank you for joining us, and if you are joining us for the first time in Worldwide Sim Racing, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more weekly content. We will be having more WSR sanctioned events during the summer break, but we are just waiting for the end of for the beginning of 2020 to begin the next season of championships. That will be season 3 for us, as Gil is going to come again for another lap. Currently sitting second fastest, Julian is, in fact, set a fastest purple sector on his outlap, which is pretty good, as he somehow didn't invalidate through turn number 2, which is a little insane. As Gil, I believe, just went fastest in the first sector. Julian, though, beats him in the first sector as well. So Julian really on a charge right now. Gil is now in the second sector. We'll see what he can do here. Second sector was not looking his quickest. Hopefully he can improve upon that as he's coming through the final few turns. A little unstable out of the exit of the previous 2 turn. And coming across, and it's a fastest purple second sector. Let's see what Julian does here as he's going to come around. And does he go faster? He does not go faster than Gil. So Gil on the charge right now for pole. He's going to come across the line. And no, it's not pole position. Julian keeps pole at the moment. And Julian doesn't even bother to improve on his lap time. Gil did not have the best third sector, which really all that matters is the exit out of the end of Sector 2 is whether or not you're going to get pole. That's all that really matters. So it is Gil in second, Julian in first. Fruitful is going to be third at the moment, and Ginger 2121 is sitting fourth. Contrary to my previous belief, drivers should be able to go pretty long on the softs, at least the softs that they set their last times on, and then go to mediums. The mediums should last them a pretty long time in the race. In fact, you can go over 20 laps. As saw in the Formula World Championship, which gave Flip Flop Fish his final win of that season. which was the final race of the season. And he went for the win. He got, I believe, 25 laps on the medium tires. So it is possible to go long on those tires. Whether or not drivers will try to extend to a one-stop remains to be seen. But nonetheless, here's Ginger. He's sitting third fastest at the moment in the Haas. Ginger would love to get a good result here in Brazil. Ferreira, though, is next to him. I don't know if... I think he's saving ERS. He might have had it... Might not be super happy with the lap time that he had. Running on board of Ice-T right now in the McLaren. He goes super wide out of the turn, so definitely not on a lap. Terra Racer is invalidated. Ghost King is... I don't believe he's on a lap either. No. Elthink is. He's going to come across the line. What's the time going to be here? And it's going to be 4th fastest. And Elthink always comes out with the surprise laps times. You just don't expect him to... All of a sudden, he just sets an extremely quick lap time. As here comes Ghost King going for another lap. And you have to say, this the entry speed for Ghost King right there in the turns 1 and 2 is clearly a little bit slower than a lot of the rest of the pack. And that's not to put any drivers down, but he definitely wants to improve. He has improved by a bit, but can definitely put it more on the limit. He's in the Renault car of 2019, which, while maybe is okay in the game, is not too fantastic in real life. Sitting at the bottom of the track right now in 11th. Ferreira is coming around again in the Racing Point, which is the car I drove in WSR 2, which actually is not a bad car at all to drive. Feels quite stable. I know the guys are going to say, oh, but all the cars are equal, you know, but they're not. The chassis are different lengths and everything like that, so in my opinion, they feel different. Maybe I am just superstitious, but, you know. Ferreira looked like he had a pretty good improvement in the second sector. Looking for a good lap here as he's going to come across the line, and he is going to set a 108.2. That's going to put him 7th fastest on the grid. NSX Fruitful is going 5th fastest at the moment. Gil is fastest in the first sector, coming now in the second. Julian goes fastest in the second sector this time. He is on another lap. Can he put it further on pole and solidify a first position here in Brazil? Comes across the line, and he will go further on pole for 107.5. Gil is about to come around for the end of Sector 2, and it is faster, but it is not fastest as he comes out of the exit of 3. Sector 3 has been what's hurting him the most. Can he improve more so than before? Coming through the end of Sector 3, let's see the time, and it is a 107.690, which, if Julian had it improved on his time, would have been pole position, but Julian puts it even quicker. So some great laps here by the drivers, and it is Julian on pole with Gil in second, Ginger rounding off the top 3, and then it's Elthink and Fruitful rounding off the top 5. Outside of the top 5, just about Ice-T, a little more further distant for Ferreira, Red Lightning, Julian, Terra Racer, and Ghost King has improved, but he's still about a full second almost off of the pace, so he definitely wants to improve on his time. Only driver currently not in the pit lane right now is Gil, though he will surely be coming into the pits at the end of this lap. Well, Yari's exposed me. I keep saying Elthink. It's Eltink. I've been exposed on chat. I do apologize. 10 points for Gryffindor. It's also the last race of the season. I'm quite tired, ladies and gentlemen. But we have to have corrections when needed. So it is Eltink. Though it should be Eltink, I think. Better name. Anyway, that's my ego talking. Ginger's coming out of the pit lane. He is going to go for another lap. So is the McLaren of Ice-T, the only McLaren on track today. Ghost King again on an outlap in the Renault. Can he put it further up the grid? He's currently in 11th, and he is quite far off the pace. Just under a 110. And he almost runs it on the grass right there. That's the last thing you want to do before you get onto another lap. Here comes Ghost King. He's speeding up now, and he's going to go for one more lap here in the session. Can he improve past P11? Coming across the line, DRS activated, coming in the turn number 1. Let's see how he takes these corners today. And decent through turn 1, turn 2, a little wide. Hugging it through turn number 3. DRS activated again for the next time. Just out of the pit lane is one of the Haas's. I believe that is Terror Racer. Yes, it is. Terror Racer himself is going to look to improve. He's sitting P10 at the moment. Ginger actually looking quite good right now, sitting in 4th, but he does have an invalidated lap on him, unfortunately, so he will not be setting another lap time today. Eltink as well sets another time. It's going to be bad now. I'm going to have to correct myself. Gil and Julian are still in the pit lane. I think that is the Red Bull. That is the Red Bull Julian coming out for another time. He should be able to get around for another one. Gil not coming out of the pit lane yet. See anybody with valid times? We have the McLaren with a valid time right now. Is way off track. Just went Eltink, and not too sure what happened. They were actually retired from the session, so interesting enough. Taking a little bit of a Kimi Räikkönen route right now. We'll see if he can find himself back on track. And let's see. Ice-T is going to come across the line in just a moment. It's not looking super quick right now, in fact, though, as he will go for another lap. And here is LR Julian. Much slower in the second sector than before. Here comes Ghost King. He's had a little bit of traffic to navigate. Let's see what the sector 2 time is going to be as he's coming around the final few turns. Goes extremely wide through there. Didn't even try to hit the apex, it felt like, almost. As he's coming around the turn, he is going to be 0.3 down on his previous time, but that still does not pull him out of the 109s, and this is looking pretty much a guaranteed Ghost King P11 as he comes across the line. What is the time going to be? It's a 109.4, so it's an improvement, but does not take him out of the 09s, and there he goes into the wall. And that is it for him. So it's just Julian and Gil. And oh no, there's a crash! Julian has crashed on his last lap. So that is not going to be any challenge for him. Gil's actually about to come up on Julian right now. So that's a crash for Julian. That's definitely not going to help his chances of keeping pole. Here comes Gil. Can Gil snatch it away in the final lap here in this session? Ginger retires from the session. He will stay 4th fastest unless Ferreira, who finishes 6th. It's only Red Lightning now who can challenge for that position. Let's see what the Sector 2 time is going to be. It's actually looking quite good from Gil as he's going to come around, and it is slower, though, in the second sector. It was looking good. Here comes around the final turn. Can Gil snatch it from the jaws of defeat? Let's see what he can do. Comes across. No, he's not even going to try to set a time. He didn't think he could get to pole. So Julian, despite the accident, is going to put it on pole here in Brazil for the final qualifying of the Formula Euro Championship in 2019's F1 game. So there's your lineup. It's Giel, Elfink, and Ginger, and Fruitful, the four behind Julian on pole. Ferreira, Ice-T, Red Lightning, Julian, Terror Racer, Ghost King. I probably said Elfink, not thinking it was Eltink, so we will try our best, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm not expecting a huge result in terms of my pronunciation change. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. For the final time of the Season 2 Championship season in WSR, I will be going over the starting lineup on the formation lap. We'll have 35 or 36 laps of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And that is it for us, ladies and gentlemen. There will be a few series that will run in the middle before the beginning of F1 2020. But this is the final official championship, the final official round of the WSR Championship season. As we get ready for the formation lap, which is about to begin in just a moment, that singular red light comes on, and here we go. Let's get set, ladies and gentlemen, for the formation lap. It is going to be 36 laps around Interlagos, the famous Brazilian track which has held so many memorable races in the past. And Julian puts it on pole position for the final time in this season here at Brazil. And it will be IGK Giel, his championship rival for almost the entire season until just near the end. We'll put it second on the grid alongside him. Eltink will be in third. Eltink has had a great season and will be looking to score another win today. Ginger in fourth, a good result for him in qualifying, and Fruitful rounds off the top five. Jay Ferreira puts it sixth on the grid, ahead of Ice-T in the McLaren. Red Lightning in the Renault is eighth, followed by Julian in ninth. The other Haas of Terror Racer, unfortunately, not putting it very well on the grid, sitting 10th, ahead of Ghost King 2503 with a disappointing qualifying P11 and the only driver in the 109s. As Julian is coming around the final few turns here at Brazil. It's the WSR Formula Euro Championship. It's Julian on pole, Giel alongside on the front row. Second row, Eltink and Ginger. Third row, Fruitful and Ferreira. Fourth row, Ice-T and Red Lightning. Fifth row, Julian and Terror Racer and Ghost King will make it a sixth row, though he will have nobody alongside him. As all the drivers are lining up on their positions, and we'll have 5 red lights which will go on and then off, and that will begin the race. Just getting ready for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here at Interlagos. And it's lights out, and away we go, and it's Julian who gets a good start off the line ahead of Giel, and it's Eltink challenging Giel into turn 1, hanging it around the outside, now keeping on the inside, and a fantastic move on Giel at the start of the race. Eltink into second. Now it's going to be Giel who's going to be chasing back on the rear diffuser of Eltink coming in the turn number 4. Let's see if he can make it happen. Braking very late and makes the dive back and gets the position again. Eltink with the switchback though, puts it back in the second. Giel trading blows of him and just gets ahead of him into the turn. And then another late break from Eltink though. He keeps it around the outside, hanging it still around the outside, but ultimately Giel in the Ferrari gets ahead of him. And Fruitful now trying to make a move maybe on Eltink, but Julian with all this battling has gotten a very good lead off the line, but it was a fantastic couple of corners from Eltink and Giel. Eltink him covered. But now on to lap 2. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very quick lap around Interlagos, and it is Julian who's in first, and then it's Gil in second, and Eltink is in third, and he's already going to try to challenge again in the turn number 1 on the inside, and now hanging it around the outside this time. Gil gets a better exit, and on the inside looked like it was the Renault of Red Lightning, maybe defending from Ferreira. Ferreira just on the back of the rear diffuser right there. Eltink, getting back into position, slotting a little bit behind Gil now as he is going to try to gain some momentum again. Ice-T at the back of Ferreira looking for 6th on the grid. And it is Julian in 8th, 9th Terror Racer. Ginger is into the pits. He's had damage on the first lap. Ghost King 2503 will get himself into the points and far ahead of Ginger. So a good start to the race for him. Lap number 2 of 36 coming on to lap 3 now. And it is a 1.4 second gap between Julian and Gil. And Eltink very close to the back of Gil. Coming on to lap 3, DRS will be activated. This first DRS detection zone will be unavailable to the drivers, but the next one, surely Eltink will be in range. Coming in the turn number 1. Crucial who gets the better exit here, and it looks to be a pretty equal exit for both drivers. And it was IGK Just who just joined the session a little bit too late, unfortunately, not able to get into the race. Coming into turn number 4, and you can see the DRS really helping him there, keeping him up with Gil coming through turn number 6 and into sector 2. Braking quite late, and you can clearly tell Eltink doing much better braking zones through the turns. Gil looking good though, but he is definitely under pressure from the Alfa Romeo. NSX Fruitful dropping back a little bit from here though, almost outside of a second from Eltink and Gil. He definitely wants to catch up to them, though I presume he will if these two drivers have any future battles. Back down the order. Ice-T still chasing down Ferreira for 6 on the grid. Julian as well chasing him down. And now with DRS, surely an overtake here against the Ferrari coming in the turn 1. They almost bang wheels, but on the era has to battle with Red Lightning and gets ahead of him, puts himself in the 5th. Red Lightning now will have DRS coming down the straight. Shirley, as he runs alongside him to the left of him, goes on the inside into turn number 6 and just gets him, turn number 5 through turn 6 and gets ahead of him. And now the McLaren of Ice-T, much closer than before, will keep behind for now, but surely will be very enticed to get into this battle with these drivers. Eltink, though, puts it in second. 2.1 seconds the gap to first and second. That is a pretty big gap already with just 4 laps off of the race. Now coming on to lap number 5. Gil about half a second from Eltink. DRS activated. Here we go. Braking slipstream is the Alfa Romeo coming in the turn number 1. And Eltink will keep it in second for right now. And Ferreira is going to hang it on the inside. A switch back from the Renault. But keeping it still in 5th is Ferreira. Red Lightning will have DRS again coming down this straight. And here we go. He's going to have the outside line coming into turn number 4. Through turn 5. And it is Ferreira who will lose the position from a Red Lightning and go back down the 6th. Ice-T has actually dropped back from all of this for some reason. Not able to keep up with the pack despite the battling. Gil sitting in 3rd behind Eltink, and now Fruitful has gained up behind him. Red Lightning in 5th. Ferreira is behind him. He's going to have to do some battling here. Red Lightning far away from the top 4. And here we go down the start-finish line. Can Gil make a move in the turn 1? Fruitful will get close and actually Gil had to close the door rather quickly there, as it might have been an invite for Fruitful to go on the inside. Into the pits is Terror Racer, and this is quite an early pit stop for him. He's probably going to put on hards, I'd presume, if anything, if he's coming in this early. And yes, it is the hard compound tire and a front wing change for him, so he has front wing damage for some reason. That puts Ghost King up to 9th, two positions up from his starting position. Ginger is going to go 10th now, ahead of his teammate, and should get ahead of him in the pit lane when he exits. Riding on board now with Fruitful, who is trying to get involved with this pack for second position. He is still very much in this fight, and as long as the drivers continue the battle, he will have opportunities for overtakes, though he is, again, not getting the best exits out of corners, and you can see Gil and Elting kind of come away from him a little bit. Gil is now in the slipstream. Huge momentum with DRS, and he's going to make a huge pass on him coming into turn 1. An easy overtake for Gil and Elting, but a spin, and he lost the car out of turn number 1, now through turn 2, and Fruitful is going to be all over him. DRS activated coming out of turn number 3. Gil will have DRS as well, but Fruitful is going to be all over Gil now, who made a mistake in turn 1, and Gil lost the position to Elting, and Elting is back into second position. Not sure what happened there. He just got some snap oversteer out of turn number 1, and Gil back down the third. Fruitful still very much in this fight, trying to look for an avenue and trying to look for an opportunity to get within the fight here. It almost had it there with Gil, but Gil recovered well, keeping it in the top 3. Whereas Julian, a full 3.4 second gap in the lead of this Grand Prix, and that is a massive gap, only on lap number 7. So Julian hanging it well in there. MNT Eltink is going to be under pressure now from Gil, who got close but does not challenge in the turn 1. A little further back again is Fruitful. Getting close, getting very close in fact, but brakes just before the rear diffuser of Eltink. Just has to be patient, looking for an opportunity to strike and get the overtake. WSO Jay Ferreira sitting in 5th, a little bit ahead of Ice-T by about half a second. Red Lightning within half a second of Ice-T, and then Julian still in that battle as well. A full 13 seconds behind, though, is Ghost King, who, though, to be fair, is about he's 2 positions up from his time where he was in 11th. Both Haas's have had pretty terrible races. They've both suffered front wing damage and have pitted early in this race. Let's get the tire up so you can get all the details in that scenario. So 8-lap-old softs for the top guys, and we have 7 and then 6-lap-old mediums for Ginger and Terror Racer on 2-lap-old hards. Those hards can go quite long into the race. In fact, he might be able to go till the end on the hards, though. They will definitely be quite dead near the end. As Gil is chasing down Eltink. He got close to them in the second DRS detection zone, but not able to make the move for second position. Fruitful dropping back a little bit again, not able to keep up with the momentum of the 2 in front of him. Julian almost running a 1-horse race at the moment, a full 4.6 seconds ahead of Eltink. And Eltink not really able to gain a lot of momentum in order to get that gap down. So Julian R 2012, your champion here in the WSR Formula Euro Championship, looking for a victory here in the final race as he's going to come across the line to start lap number 10. And it's Gil who's made an overtake in the turn 1. Eltink will have a battle again. You're going to come in the turn number 4. Let's see if he can make the move. And on the inside in the turn number 4, still just keeping it in there, but Gil gets ahead of him, but he will surely now still try to make an overtake here, maybe on the inside, and Gil closes the door on him. So it is Eltink who moves back down the third. Fruitful again back into the mix. Every time these two battle, Fruitful able to gain backs, but can he keep the momentum? Pereira sitting in fifth, but a 6-second gap for both of them. So he is a little bit too far out of this pack to be battling at all. Ghost King, that gap is now 18 seconds. 11 seconds from Terra Racer to Ginger, but only 3.2 from Ginger to Ghost King. We begin lap number 12. It's actually, oh, sorry, lap number 11. That's how far ahead Julian has gotten ahead of these runners. Gil in second, Eltink in third, Fruitful in fourth. Ferreira rounds off the top five. Not too many gaps starting to form, but not a lot of overtakes as drivers are staying relatively within their pace parameters, with Eltink trading blows of Gil the most, if anybody, out of this race. As DRS will be activated, but he has dropped back a little bit on this lap. In fact, he's a little bit further back than he'd like to be, and now Fruitful as well, same thing. He dropped back a little bit further, and oh, look at this. Gil lost it again in turn one, so Gil had problems again, this time a little bit too far back for Eltink to really challenge. But problems again from the back end for Gil, so a little bit of an unstable front end there. Here's a pit stop for Julian and Red Lightning. The Mercedes will get ahead of Red Lightning in the pit lane. Ginger should move up to maybe at least 8th. No, maybe not actually. Coming through the turns, I don't think he's going to gain any positions actually, which is not good indeed. Ghost King has lost a position to Ginger, which I didn't even see. Not too sure what happened there. Eltink sitting in third. 6/10 behind now, Gil. There's a little bit of a gap starting to form now, as we almost come to the halfway point in this Grand Prix. And it has been smooth sailing for most of the drivers, and a nice battle going on right now for second position in this Grand Prix, and Gil currently is the man who has it. No penalties as far as I'm aware for both drivers, so they are racing it pretty clean right now. No serious track infringements. Not sure if they're under any warnings at the moment. Have to wait and see on that one. Eltink getting close, but not able to find a way past Gil through here. It's a little tricky to be making overtakes around these parts of the track. It's really the DRS zones where are there really only opportunities to make overtakes. Now, here we come on to lap number 13, coming towards 14. Here we go. And Julian is 5.2 seconds ahead of Gil. Gil comes across the line. And Eltink is going to be the first of the top three to go into the pits. Fruitful will follow. So Gil now has to put in a major lap time right now to get ahead of Eltink out of the pit lane. I'm sure he'll make he'll make his pit stop come this lap. He should go onto the medium tires as they do, and they will go till the end of this Grand Prix. But crucially, look at this. Fruitful has gotten ahead of Eltink in the pit lane. So this is a crucial moment here for Eltink trying to get back into his position. He has lost a position to Fruitful out of the pit lane. Very interesting, to say the least. Gil, again, putting in a big lap. Let's see if he can stay ahead of Eltink, who Eltink has lost a position in the pit lane, so this could be very crucial for that to happen. But does Fruitful get ahead of Gil? Gil surely will make a pit stop come this lap. I think it'd be quite silly if he didn't. Is he going to come across these turns? Let's see if he, in fact, does go into the pits. And, yes, reacting to the pit stops from Eltink and Fruitful. Medium compound tires will go on the car. Let's see how he goes. Ferreira into the pits as well. Fruitful coming around the final few turns. You should pass him for now, but Gil is coming out of the pit lane. Let's see. Eltink has gone ahead of Ferreira. Fruitful. Where does Fruitful end up? Where does Gil end up? It's going to be close here, ladies and gentlemen, coming out of the pit lane. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Gil has gone ahead of Fruitful, so the undercut did not work for Eltink or Fruitful for that matter. But Eltink is the real loser in the situation here, as he's sitting in 4th now on the grid behind Fruitful. So I can only presume a slow pit stop from the Alfa Romeo crew, but Eltink has lost a position in the pit lane and has now lost a position to Gil fully. The undercut did not work. Eltink must not be happy right now. Surely he could have thought that he was going to get it, but oh, look at that. Fruitful lost it out of the exit there, and now Eltink is going to be all over the back of him, and now surely will make an overtake even before turn 1, and whew, that was a close cut across by him, and he's really risking it right there, as Fruitful will lose the position, and oh, almost hits the back of Eltink, and that could have been a disaster for both of them. I don't know if he has front wing damage. It looks like he saved it. As we come on to lap 16 of 36, just about the halfway point in this Grand Prix. But that was almost a disaster. And Ice-T is got a penalty. And Julian's out. Virtual safety car deployed. So there's a crash for Julian. VSC out. I'm not sure where that was, unless he's retired in the pit lane. Or he's retired on track, I think, actually. Nope, I can't see. His car apparently is around here somewhere. So it looks like somewhere around one of the escape roads. So there are now just 10 runners in this Grand Prix. Julian is out. There's a virtual safety car deployed, and he is around there somewhere. I didn't see his car. Cars will remain on their relative pace. I'm not sure how long the VSC will last. Unlikely to have a safety car in this Grand Prix. Not a lot of drivers around each other. And I'd like to mention, though, Eltink has lost the time to Gil and is 1.4 seconds back from him. And now look at this. Ice-T is out. Ice-T has crashed. Is this a safety car, ladies and gentlemen? I'm not too sure. I don't think so. I think everything will be okay, but that's another accident. And this time it's Ice-T, and now there's only 9 runners in this Grand Prix. Yellow flags go away. I'm not too sure if he retired in the pit lane. I'd be surprised if he did. I'd have to assume that's a crash. But now there are just 9 runners in this Grand Prix. Gil's lost some positions. He's down to 4th. He's had an incident somewhere, and he has lost 2 positions in two corners. And that is a massive blunder for Gil. Whatever happened to him, and is he in the pit lane? And yes, he is. Does he have front wing damage on that car? He has a 5-second penalty for speeding the play. Gil is out of the session. What is going on here? He is retired in the pit lane, and his car is not leaving the... Does he have front wing damage? No, I'm not too sure what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen. That's a retirement in the pit lane with virtually no damage, and I think Gil might have just quit it there. Unfortunately, he's coming back on track. Yellow flag in Sector 1. Yellow flag now in Sector 1 and 2, so Gil is back on track, and there's yellow flags all around. Not too sure what's going on. But nonetheless, now we still have a battle on our hands as it's going to be Fruitful versus Eltink for the rest of the race here, as Gil has made a mistake. He went into the pit lane and just retired on track in the pit lane, but the car has come back out of the pit lane. Ghost King gets ahead of Gil, who does in fact go off track now. His car came out of the pit lane and has retired off track. Something happened with Gil right there as Fruitful gets ahead of Eltink in the turn 1. Eltink will have a chance to make a reaction here as he comes out of turn number 3 into turn number 4, making some switchback maneuvers. It's getting a little dicey here, ladies and gentlemen, and Eltink will slot behind him. So 3 retirements in this Grand Prix. You see right there, Ginger is 17 old mediums. He can still go a lot longer with them, though. Probably up to lap 25 before they really start to lose their lifespan. Julian R 2012 sitting in first, Fruitful in second, Eltink in third. Ferreira inside the top 5, and Ginger has somehow rounded off the top 5, despite all that has gone on in this race for him. Sitting on lap 20 of 36. And there's about 16 laps to go in this Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. This is the WSR Formula Euro Championship. My name is IGK Ix, and I am your commentator this evening. There is no co-commentator. Fritten Brood would normally join me, but he was not able to join us today. And it is Julian R 2012 is currently leading the Grand Prix with Fruitful in second. Eltink is in third, and Ferreira is in fourth. Rounding off the top 5 is Ginger. We've had 3 retirements in this Grand Prix. You can see there's Gil, Ice-T, and Julian. And I believe 2 of them have crashed, though we did see Gil was one who did in fact just retired in the pit lane. And Julian is in a race of his own right now, about 8 seconds ahead of the next driver. Ghost King of 3-second time penalty, and here we go, still swerving around. Ghost King now has lost it a lot on track there. He has to get out of the way, though, as there were blue flags being waved. As Fruitful getting close to the Alfa Romeo, trying to make an overtake. He had a position for a little bit. Eltink has gone ahead of him since then. And really, though, driver of the day right now has to be Julian. He's led every single lap of this Grand Prix and is a 8.4 second gap. So Julian really on a masterclass showing right now if he can keep it all together, as he will start lap 22. Dropped back a little bit is Fruitful. Still up DRS, so he's going to come a little closer, coming into turn 1. Turn 2 a little wide. Loses the back end a little bit there, stepped out from him. Start to see a bit of a gap forming. Fruitful has had a bit of a problem with this, keeping momentum as Ginger into the pits again. This time it's the lap 20. I think he could have gone a few laps more. And he's going to put on softs till the end of the Grand Prix. Now, Terra Racer should stay behind him. Ginger his car is near about the middle of the pit lane. But Terra Racer goes into pits. 15-lap-old hards. Now, I got to be honest here. This one perplexes me a little bit because that's way too early in my opinion. He's going to put on softs as well. I know that those hards are not super fast. No, he puts on mediums. Now, that's just an for with the hard tires on. Julian goes fastest with a 110.2, but then to put on mediums instead of softs go till the end, that is a very interesting decision, and I don't know if that's going to help him out too much. I know he's pretty far back from Ginger, but I still question that decision nonetheless. And here is Fruitful making an overtake on the inside and gets ahead of him before turn number 4 into 5, and Fruitful has gone ahead of him. P number 2 at the moment. Here comes L-Tank making a challenge again, but not able to make the move. And Fruitful gets into second position. We saw the gap was starting to wane a little bit for... And oh, look at this! Fruitful! Fruitful's retired! What's happened? Fruitful, did he just quit? I'm not too sure what happened. Fruitful just lost it, and he retired on the track. Ghost King's left the session now as well, so... But he's left the session, and his car is still going, so now it's just an AI car. Fruitful's left the session as well. So we have lost, technically, 2 drivers here. L-Tank will take second position. Fruitful is out of this race. Ghost King is on track right now, and this, I hope, doesn't cause problems for any drivers. Ginger is going quite slowly on track right now. Not too sure what's going on with him. I think he was letting by Ghost King. L-Tank gets a 3-second time penalty. He's going very slow, and he's blocking his teammate here. Now, I'm a little perplexed as to what's going on between the Haas's right now, but Ginger is blocking Terra Racer, so they're not really working in tandem right now. I'm going to see if he makes a big dive bomb, but Ginger really slowed up for Terra Racer right there, as the 2 Haas's 7th and 8th right now. About to pass Fruitful, and now we'll go into 6th and 7th. So there's now just 7 runners in this Grand Prix, and they're all separated by a pretty big margin. Ferreira sitting in 3rd. Ginger's actually rather close to Ferreira. I'm not sure if he's going to... this is going to get a little dicey here, ladies and gentlemen. This is looking very Esteban Ocon, Max Verstappen-y-ish. As let's hope that's not going to be the case. Coming out of turn number 3. It's going to get interesting here. Terra Racer going for an overtake on his teammate. Decided against it. A little bit too far back. Here we go. Is he going to go again on the inside? He looked at the inside there. So I'm getting told that some of the drivers got drive-through penalties under VSC, which is why they left. Terra Racer makes an outside look to make an outside move, but there's some lag going on my screen, so that in fact did not happen. That's Ghost King actually. He was making an overtake on, who is currently a lapped car with an AI. And Ginger into 5th position. And he has overtaken the 3rd place man that was Ferreira. Now, again, I'm not too sure about this because, again, blue flags are going to get waved again. And he lets by now both Haas's. Ferreira's not going to give up this 3rd place by making a mistake of the drivers here, so we don't want to see that happen. Ghost King 2503 sitting in 7th with that AI. He left on track. So hopefully this doesn't cause any issues for the front runners. Julian, lap 27 of 36, leading this Grand Prix by about 11.8 seconds. There's really no serious battles going on except the Haas drivers. Terra Racer in the slipstream of Ginger. Ginger has got a lot of momentum lost here coming into turn 1. And Ginger, I don't think he moved twice in the braking zone. I think, oh, Terra Racer now, here we go. DRS activated. Surely now an overtake. Ginger is really giving his teammate a hard time here. They're banging wheels a little bit. Terra Racer trying to hang it around the outside. Ginger pushes his teammate off track, and the Haas's are having a problem here. Kevin Magnussen and Roman Grosjean must have joined the game because they are not liking each other, and they're giving each other quite a hard time. Though these two do know each other, so maybe they're just having a little bit of fun on track, but that definitely felt like earlier Ginger blocking Terra Racer. Blue flags being waved. Not too sure what that's all about. Terra Racer's going to come at him again. That's blue flags being waved for Ginger. I'm not too sure what's going on there. He's a little bit too far back to make an overtake on this lap. Getting into the closing stages of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Almost hits the back of his teammate. That could have been... I think it might be Ferreira getting close to the Haas's, in fact. Though on those old medium tires, I suspect that that will be a very difficult task to catch up to them. Here comes Terra Racer trying to get close, trying to make an overtake. The Haas's are having a bit of a battle right now on track, and it has not been a nice one, to say the least, for both of them. Making blows at each other. Currently sitting 6th on the grid. We begin lap 29 from Julian. Terra Racer in the slipstream. DRS activated coming into turn 1. Again, too far back. No chance for an overtake here. Ginger would have to make a mistake somewhere. He did not have a great turn 1 and 2, but neither did Terra Racer. In fact, a 3-second time penalty to compound all of that. And that might end the battle right there. Eltink is going to come out of the pit lane with new soft compound tires as we begin lap 29 of Julian. An interesting tactic, to say the least, though he is just 2.2 seconds behind Ferreira. So he should make the overtake, come back in the P2 with 14-lap-old mediums on Ferreira's car. Eltink is going to be a brand new dog out there with some very nice soft tires. Ginger and Terra Racer still battling right now for position. Lap 30 has begun. Not too many laps to go in this final race of the championship seasons for WSR in Season 2. And DRS will be activated right there. The flap opens up, and again, though, too far back, I think, to be making an overtake coming into turn number 1. It's going to get closer than before. Ginger gets close, but losing a bit of momentum. Ginger, though, lost momentum as well, actually. DRS activated. Can he make an overtake here? It's going to get close here, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's going to try to make a big dive on the inside. He does. And they're banging wheels here still. Ginger and Terra Racer who's been pushed off track. Ginger gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, but it's Ginger who's lost the position. Finally, the Terra Racer, and you can see it coming a mile away. They definitely made a lot of contact there, but Terra Racer gets ahead of his teammate. And you can see MNT Eltink with major advantage over Jay Ferreira with those soft compound tires. on lap 31 of 36, almost within a second already. Here they come. Ginger surely will make an overtake again on Terra Racer. Terra Racer will give him little room, I presume, as yeah, you can see they're almost pushing him off track right there. And Ginger makes the overtake, though, quite easy on Terra Racer. Coming out of turn 2, really rides the curb there. A much better exit, but still will have DRS on Ginger, and I think there's going to be an outside move, and now a switchback, and Ginger moved twice in the braking zone there, and I think they're just having a little bit of fun. Emmett Eltink does get ahead of Ferreira, as we did expect he would, with very new soft compound tires. Though I would say he's a little bit too far back. He's actually coming up on the Haas's, who are having that scuffle. And this is going to get interesting here, ladies and gentlemen. Blue flags will start to get waved. And I think both Haas's will, yep, just let him by pretty easy. Oh, there's actually contact. Terra Racer hit the back of, and look at this, they let by the Racing Point, but Terra Racer hit the back of his teammate and is going way off track right now, actually, and has lost a huge amount of momentum. That's a 3-second time penalty. And the Haas's finally make contact that causes damage, and Terra Racer has hit the back, and now they're both going to go into the pits, and yep, I think they are just, in fact, having a little bit of a battle on their own. Lap 32 of 36. 5 more laps to go in this Grand Prix. Julian leading 11.7 seconds, and it has been a masterclass performance from him. Ghost King is now going to be in 5th as both of the Haas's come out of the pit lane. And look at this, a front wing change. Ginger is going to come way out ahead of his teammate out of this pit lane, unless he's going to wait for him. And he might just do that, and he is going to, in fact, wait for him. So the Haas's are just having a bit of fun on track, not too much to worry about there. Julian will begin lap number 33. We have 4 more laps of regulation in this final race here at Interlagos. Sunny skies to end it here, ladies and gentlemen. And to recap what has been a fantastic championship here in the Formula Euro Championship. We've seen some amazing talent in the Formula Euro Championship. Some of the best drivers on the PlayStation 4 and F1 2019. Julian is about to win it here, ladies and gentlemen. He's had a flawless Grand Prix. He's won the championship, and he's going to end it off in style, much like Flip Flop Fish did. The whole championship season for WSR, with the Formula World Championships for both Tier 1 and Tier 2 and the Formula Euro Championship, have been a blast, as well as the GT Sport Championship, which was not able to get aired a lot, unfortunately. But nonetheless, it has been a fun time, to say the least. And we thank everybody for joining us through all of the races, and for enjoying the moments that we've had on track. And despite the waning interest in the game, those who have stuck around, thank you so much for supporting us. Again, if you haven't, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. We appreciate all the support here at Worldwide Sim Racing, and it has been a pleasure to commentate a full 2 seasons here for WSR, who have treated me so well in the past, and they have truly given me a platform to give me a great way to commentate and to really create some memories. As there are 3 more laps to go in this race, and Julian is looking uncharged right now. You can see that gap has decreased a lot. 13.8 seconds is the gap from Julian to Eltink, but Julian did in fact make a pit stop, as he could. So that is why that gap has decreased so much. Comes across the line. He's about to begin lap number 35, and there will be 2 more laps after this one, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a great season for all of our drivers. It's been a great season, too, in general. And Julian is about to begin his final lap in just a couple of corners here, and what is a very quick lap around Interlagos. Make sure to follow us along. We are going to have a few events going on in the off-season, and I'm sure it's going to be a fun one, to say the least, for our drivers. And then coming for F1 2020, we will then begin the Season 3 championships. Can't wait for the new game to come out, as here comes around the final few turns of lap 35. Julian will begin what is the final lap of Season 2 championships in WSR. And I'm actually just going to ride on board of Julian and give him a little bit of peace. And you can listen to Julian perform his final lap, and I'll come back in just a few moments. Comes across the line. Julian is going to win the Brazilian Grand Prix. Eltink in the Alfa Romeo will finish off a great season. He will finish second in this race. Jay Ferreira, who has had a difficult season in the Formula Euro Championship, will finish on the podium here in Brazil. And that is your top three in this race. Red Lightning and Ghost King are actually going to finish 4th and 5th. And lap squabble. They are quite a few laps back, to say the least. But Julian is your winner here in WSR, as the two Haas's are going to come across the line to end this session, and I think they're going to come across the line in style. The Haas's putting on a show at the end there, and there you go. A little bit of fun times on the final lap here, ladies and gentlemen. So in first is Julian. Eltink will finish second, and Ferreira is going to finish third on the podium. Thank you for joining us, and for the final time here in the sanctioned championship races in WSR for Season 2, my name has been IGKX. Thank you so much for joining us. It was just me today. Unfortunately, Fern Bood couldn't join us. Hopefully you can join us more in Season number 3. Thank you, and have your